Alrighty everyone, well game number 3 in this best of 5 series finds us on New Repugnancy LE. Spawning here in the bottom left hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to finish and close out this series right here and right now. I'm talking about stats. In his opponent, spawning in the top right hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is Neeb. So guys and girls, this has been a very intense but a bizarre series to say the least for me, for a couple of reasons. But number one, I would say, is stats throwing Neeb so far off guard in game number 1, where he sends a couple of adepts and he has a proxy Stargate sending in an Oracle, and Neeb having no response for it whatsoever, and half or probably 75% of his mineral line in his main base was completely decimated. Throwing Neeb completely off guard is one thing, but then Stats goes into game number 2 and completely plays really good defense, but he has some really incredible timing attacks that kind of threw Neeb a little bit off once again, and it just posed a threat as Stats' army, even though it looked kind of similar to Neeb's in size, Stats was just, he was posing such a threat going into that natural expansion and just doing so much, you know, doing a good amount of damage, and Neeb just had no response, couldn't figure out a good way of attacking and kind of taking on Stats' army. And so he GG out possibly prematurely. I would say it was definitely a premature GG on Neeb's part. I mean, it was a matter of time probably until Stats would have won that game. But just very bizarre how Stats has absolutely outsmarted his opponent in this series. And I mean, we are talking about arguably the best Protoss player on the planet in stats. And so, but Neeb, guys, is, I mean, this is a guy who is, you know, he's an absolute force to be reckoned with still. And I will definitely say that about Neeb for sure. I mean, he is a very good Protoss player. Plays a very, you know, straightforward game. He does go a little bit off book, you know, at times, but, you know, he's not the kind of guy who gets, you know, thrown off much. I have not seen that really ever out of Neeb being completely thrown off. He's coming off of a very weak year of 2018. And so, I mean, but at the same time, I still feel that Neeb has got a lot left in the tank. And so we're going to find out, though, what he's made of here in this game number 3. He's facing elimination to arguably the best Protoss player on the planet. What do you do in this situation if you're Neeb? Well, it does look like he's going to go for the double gateway into that cybernetics core, and then he's going to follow this up with a robotics facility as well as another gateway. His opponent, Stats, is going to go ahead and he's going to get the double gateways out as well as that cybernetics core, but he's going to go ahead and he's going to expand early here, and we're going to see that he's going to be researching the warp gate very early on, which of course is the most standard upgrade for a Protoss player. The same can be said for Neeb. Neeb's is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds as Stats already finished up. And we're going to start seeing some adepts moving across the map. I mean, one thing that we can already agree on from this series so far is that Neeb has had a very difficult time handling Stats' adepts. The adepts have really done a lot of damage, whether they're being dropped into the main base or they're shading in to the natural of their main base. They've been posing such a threat to Neeb that Neeb really has had absolutely no response for it, other than just, you know, trying to, you know, block off his, or wall off his own base, you know, to not allow those adepts to get in there. But it does look like these adepts are baiting once again. They are baiting the opponent, as in Stats is concerned, or as in Neeb. And so Neeb is now going to just take the fight over to Stats. He wants to take the fight over to him, and it looks like they are going to go ahead, and it looks like they have decided to mass recall back home, and here we go. It does look like Neeb wants to take the fight to his opponent. I like this decision a lot. Here we go. It does look like the shading's going to come in. Is Neeb overstepping his boundaries here, as it's going to be Stalkers versus some Adepts as well as other Stalkers? But here we go. It looks like now he has been able to re-up his army as in stats, and there come the force fields. We are going to see one immortal on the playing field as of right now. And Neeb, I do feel, though, what he needs to do to get back in this series, or at least to just get a win in the win column here, I really do think he is going to need to be aggressive on stats. He can't allow stats to really dictate the pace of this game. I mean, there's just no way that you can play that way and expect to beat the best Protoss player on the planet. You have got to be the guy who is going to put the pressure on and not overextend, play solid defense, and just continue with that pressure. And, and that's something that Neeb has lacked in this series, and I would love to see him do a little bit of that here in this game. But it does look like Neeb wants to get aggressive, but, he's kind of being shut down right now by Stats so far. Stats is, he's playing a pretty straightforward game. We are going to see the Twilight Council coming in, observers coming out, and that's one thing that Stats is so good at is getting the information necessary that he needs to get in order to obtain victory or see exactly what his opponent's doing. It's all about information, guys. It's like it's like a chess match, and you're trying to figure out what the opponent's doing, and what strategy they're going for, what unit compositions you're going to be going up against. And so that's exactly it. And I really like this change that Neeb is getting here. We're seeing disruptors coming out of the robotics facility, and I love that decision making by him. He's switching it up a little bit. I love that. We are also, I was wondering if we were going to start seeing Colossus, or what we were going to start seeing out since that robotics bay did go down. So we're seeing changes here to the build orders, and I really think that this is smart by Neeb. I think, it's a smart decision to go ahead and really, start trying to change it up a little bit. Disruptor's going to be, looks like he's going to be doing a Disruptor drop here shortly, but it does look like Stats is on the opposite side of the map. It looks like he's going to try to start doing a little bit of some damage here. It looks like the Disruptor did decide to come back home. Oh my, I do not know if I like this decision, though. It does look like that Disruptor hit is going to connect. Beautiful hit there. Gravitic Drive does finish up as well for Neeb. So I like the Disruptors. I kind of like that. I think that's a really, I really think it's a nice change for Neeb at this point, and it does look like it's actually forced Stats to go all the way back home. And so neither one of these players is, of course, dealt a killing blow as of yet. We are going to see Neeb going into that Forge. He's also going to be getting his own Twilight Council. We're also going to see Stats is going to go ahead and start researching Charge out of the Twilight Council, and he's also going to be constructing a couple more gateways of his own. And both players are actually giving each other a lot of respect right now that they so rightfully do deserve. We are going to see Neeb go ahead and expand to his third Nexus, and once again, I don't know if I like it, though. I don't know if I like that he's going for this third Nexus right now. I would almost wait a little bit. It looks like Stats is going ahead. He's getting his third Nexus as well. But at this point, I just feel like Neeb needs to just be putting on a good amount of pressure. And I know he's kind of trying to do it, but you don't want to overextend, and you lose the Disruptors, or you lose that War Prism. It could be absolutely devastating to your army. We are going to start seeing Colossus coming out. I like that as well. The Colossus are coming out, so I mean, this is going to be a very interesting, when these two armies do clash, it's going to be really interesting. Now, the mass recall does come. Oh my god! The mass recall was going to go in there for that War Prism, but the Phoenixes caught it in Stats. Those are the little battles that end up helping you win the war in the end. He absolutely was just able to take out that War Prism, and that's a huge pickup because it was holding two Disruptors. Extended Thermal Lance finishes up for Neeb, which is, of course, the extended range on those Colossus. But, oh man, that was such a huge blow right there. That was a tough pill for Neeb to swallow there. Wrong place, wrong time. And I felt like Neeb was getting a little bit careless there when we were near his base. Over in this area, I felt like I didn't like the way he was maneuvering I did not like how he was maneuvering the War Prism around Stats' army. I know he did get a mortal kill there, as well as like a Stalker for his troubles as well, but just a little bit careless there. And here we go. Ground Weapons levels 1's going to be finishing up in a couple of seconds, and Charge will be finishing up in less than 10 seconds as well for Neeb, but he is supply blocked currently. And here we go. Those Phoenixes are going to start picking up those Immortals, and that's going to be huge, as well as the Sentry. So here we go. It looks like Stats is going to try to slowly but surely take over this army, and that's exactly what he's doing. Is he overextending, though? The Colossus are doing some damage from afar, but these Phoenixes are just having free range of the Colossus. And here we go. It looks like they are going to start moving in on the Colossus. Another one is going to join the fight, and GG is called. And Neeb, his supply plummeting once again. Stats just outsmarted his opponent. There's no better way to put it in this series. Outsmarted Neeb in this best of 5 series, winning it 3-0 and moving on to the semi-finals of the IEM in Katowice. I hope you guys did enjoy this game and the series between Stats and Neeb. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.